I'm going to review two cheaper alternatives to the Rimowa Sling Clutch. If you're familiar with this crossbody bag, what you'll know is that it is incredibly expensive. $1,250 for this little phone travel bag. It really can't be gotten for much cheaper than that. If you look on eBay, it's going to be around $1,000. You look on Facebook Marketplace, if you can find one, it's still going to be around $1,000. You go to some of the luxury secondhand markets, still very expensive. So let's take a look at the first alternative that we have here. This is I believe it's a European company, Ogon, and you can see that it is made out of aluminum, like Rimowa is. And if we take a look on Amazon, it's $139.99. It comes in some different colors: black, blue, looks like kind of a rose gold color. We have a carbon fiber type look, and then we have a green one. I went with the aluminum one because for this particular brand, I thought that was the most sophisticated look, the most elegant look. And one of the reasons is because if you get the black version, it's going to be black here, but it's still going to be a different color, this sort of gray color on the other side and on the strap. So I just felt like this was the classiest look. And of course, it's genuine aluminum, so that's quite nice. Now, with the other cheaper one that I'm going to talk in more detail about later, it is completely black. The strap, the buckle, the zipper, everything's black. So that's why I went with the black version with that variant. So still expensive at $140, but considerably cheaper than the Rimowa option if you want a cheaper one. So one of the nice things about this is it has an elegant little clip at the top to open it. So you're not, needing to zip around here or strap on some buckles. It's kind of sophisticated. Some people were complaining about the fact that it's not completely aluminum. So in the back, you have a kind of a soft compressing material. I don't think they just did that to be cheap on the materials. I think they actually did it for comfort when it's pressing against your breast, for example. And then we have straps, which I believe are made out of nylon. And then this part, which is some sort of hard plastic, it appears. Now, one thing about this is that it's somewhat thin. So that's good and it's bad. In one regard, it makes it more elegant. So it straps onto your body like this. It sits somewhat close to you, and it doesn't jut out like some sort of Walmart bag or something like that. So I like that. But on the other hand, if you're doing a lengthy travel, it can be troublesome because it's difficult to fit in. For example, my Samsung power bank, which I have here, in addition to other things, like sometimes I take Pepto-Bismol in a little tube, and I'll also take my iPhone 15 Pro here. So space can be a bit of an issue. So this is more of for daily use or like short walks going to something like 7-Eleven. You can see that it was well designed. There's an angle built into how the strap comes together. But I do sometimes have an issue where it does sort of slide a bit, and I wish it would stay up like this. Now, I think I could fix that by tightening this, but overall, it is pretty good, but I could see some refinements there. Now, let's take a look at the inside of this. We can see that one side just has a strap, so I could easily fit in my phone there, and it'll close nicely and smoothly. We could put in a passport or something in there. We have this little device in the middle, which can be removed, I believe. And I put in like credit cards, some IDs. There's also another little strap in the back to put something else in. So that's nice. And then there's this, which has this sort of stretchy pocket thing. And right now I just have some coins and some uh, paper money in there. If you put in something that's too thick, like a tube, maybe like this toothbrush or something, like that's not going to fit. It's going to jut out, and here it'll make it difficult to close. It's still possible to close, but it loses the elegance. So don't expect to fit a whole lot, but it'll definitely serve as your phone bag and as your wallet in a kind of a classy aluminum casing with these lines going through it. Now, one might think that this is basically a Rimowa knockoff, but in some respects you could consider it an original design. It actually won the red dot design, and I was even asking on the Reddit for Rimowa. I said, which one would you consider the original? And one of the responses was just they just have similar designs. This isn't actually a knockoff for Rimowa; it's its own design. They just happen to be a little bit similar. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, I think that's quite viable. Now let's look at the other one. So this one is different in respect to having this little notch here, similar to Rimowa. So this is more of what you might call a copy. But something that's very different about it is that it's very thick. You can see that it's thick here. So again, that's a trade-off. It's very practical. So when I went to Korea, for example, I could put in my power bank, I could put in my phone, I could put a lot in here because of these. You have two zippers that opens up. And then you have a lot of space here. You have a little elastic pocket, just like the other one. Right now, I got a debit card, transit card, ID, some coins. I got one of my passports in here. I have a Canadian passport and a U.S. passport. So it's pretty good. It's very practical. It's not as sophisticated a design as the Ogon. So the Ogon has kind of a nice, more rigid strap, whereas this one is a little bit more basic, but I still like it, especially for longer travels. And the materials are definitely not as premium as the one that I showed you previously. It's basically plastic, but because it uses pure black and everything, it makes it look more sophisticated than it actually is. And I do recommend it. It's also considerably cheaper. So I believe I paid maybe around $15 for this on TikTok, which is the only place that I was able to find something like this. So most of the Rimowa like sling clutch bags are not going to have this little notch in it. Most of them are going to be more rectangular. So that's the reason that I got this one and had it expedited to me.